When it comes to relationship dynamics, this has to be one of the weirdest ones I've ever seen. Obviously, there's very different types of relationships out there. There's people who are in love and date many of other partners. There's people who are just, within themselves. There's many different forms of how a relationship be. But this one has to take the cake because Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have one of the weirdest relationships I think I've ever seen. Jada and Will are no strangers to controversy. Obviously, they're always on the media, always, especially when Jada does her Red Table Talk and that infamous line where she was having an entanglement with August Alsina, a R&B artist or rapper, I'm not too sure, but she had an entanglement with him where they were both dating each other and said they love each other while still in a relationship with Will Smith and still being married with him. Obviously, the news comes to be when Jada revealed that they've been separated since 2016.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
This is one hell of a news because I'm not sure if anybody knew that they were separated. They sure acted like they weren't separated with one another. I don't know what in their right mind would say that they're separated from one another. Apparently, I guess they live in different houses or they chose to live in different places. But then if that is true, then why did the whole August Alsina thing happen? And why did the Red Table Talk happen? Things are not adding up with Jada's story. It seems like she's a loose cannon when it comes down to these things. But one thing that she does keep consistent is her love for Tupac. In an interview, she said that Tupac is her soulmate.
I think that, there's times where he's referred to as his soulmate, and I would assume that you felt the same way. Do you feel that you can have a friendship that is like a soulmate friendship that doesn't necessarily include the romantic, version?
Absolutely. We have soulmates. Our children can be our soulmates. I think this kind of romanticized idea of like a soulmate, there's all kinds of definitions of soulmate.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I don't think if there is such a thing as past lives, I definitely think Pac and I have traveled a few together.
I just don't understand how you could be married with somebody and then still act like somebody else is your soulmate. I just don't get that at all. I just don't understand how Jada perceives relationships or if Will Smith got the memo on that too. Especially since Will Smith has openly talked about how he's been hurt about Jada speaking out about her relationship with Tupac, and obviously it hurts him.
Were you ever jealous of the love Jada had for Tupac?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I thought you were gonna say no.
Oh my God, that dude. And that was in the early days.
Yeah,
that was in the early days, and it was like, that was a big regret for me too, because I could never open up to interact with Pac, and because we had a little bit of a thing, right? Because they grew up together. And they loved each other, but they never had that. They never had a sexual relationship. But they had come into that age where now that was a possibility. And then Jada was with me, So Pac had a little thing on that, but she just loved him like he was the image of perfection.
And obviously another thing that has happened was the entanglement between August Alsina and Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, obviously all this is hurting this man. I don't understand how you could do this to, obviously who was you're supposed to be your husband. But with the new news coming out that they've been separated since 2016, I guess she's been on a roll since then. It's just been a long time. And it does seem like Will Smith hasn't got the memo either, because he still protects her and loves her. I guess that's part of the whole thing, right? If you marry somebody, you love somebody, you're going to protect her. I mean, look at what happened during the Oscar event with Chris Rock and Will Smith, the infamous slap heard around the world. So yeah, I just don't understand what is going on with this relationship. It's a very curious situation. There's an interesting dynamic going on between them. I don't know if Will Smith understands what's going on or he's just in this relationship where one party is out of it already. It just seems like Jada has done many things to hurt that man. I don't understand what Will Smith has done to her, but the reality is that they carry themselves in such a weird manner, and there's so much inconsistencies that obviously things like the Chris Rock slap is going to happen. I just don't understand how somebody would be able to do that. And if that wasn't your wife and that isn't how you carry yourself, then why keep telling people that you're married online? Like, what is the necessity of that? You don't have to be honest with people, but at least be honest with yourself. At least tell each other that you don't want to be with one another instead of hurting each other. And obviously Will Smith, I don't know what his problem is or what type of relationship he's in with her, but the reality is, if you guys are not together, then why not get a divorce? Why not leave each other? Why not separate each other? There's so many steps. It gets to the point where you're starting to date other couples or other people. I don't know the dynamic of the relationship, but it just seems like they are committed to one another. I guess that's Will Smith's perspective when it comes to this, but the reality is this: she is not committed. She is for the streets. What did J. Cole say in that song? You know, you cannot change her. You cannot change her, bro. And I feel bad for Will Smith, although I don't feel bad for him slapping Chris Rock. But now with all the new information coming out, because Jada's dropping a new book, I guess her new memoir, it just seems like Jada has not been interested in the relationship for a long time. You know, it just seems like she's out of it. She's doing her own other thing. I don't understand why she keeps Will Smith, you know, tangled around her finger like that. I don't know why Will Smith ends up staying with her in the first place. Maybe there's some sort of weird like trauma going on there. I just don't get it at all. If I was Will Smith, I would have left a long time ago. I mean, your kids are grown. I mean, all of them are successful at this point. Willow and Jaden are both very successful in their own rights. Like, I just don't understand. Hopefully Will Smith is able to get out of here. I don't know, there is such thing as trauma bonding, and maybe that's what's happening at this current moment with one another. I just feel really bad for Will Smith at this point. I know the whole entire slap between Chris Rock and him was a big pivotal point for him, and then I know Jada's always talking about the relationship online. It's a very hurtful thing, so this man must be very, very, very hurt inside when it comes down to this thing. So we'll have to see, man, what ends up happening with this. It's just very, very strange on how she tends to carry herself. I do not agree with it at all. I feel bad for Will Smith, and at the end of the day, I just hope he does get the help he needs, because he's an amazing actor. He's an amazing performance, but some things that you do are not okay, you know. So we'll have to see, man. And Pac is dead, bro. Pac is gone. R.I.P. Pac, you know. You gotta let that go. I don't know why Jada's still on this, man. She's in love with that man. She has like this obsession over him. I just don't understand that. I really don't. So I think that's about it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, because we're trying to reach up 500 subs, and with your help, we can definitely do so. And I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.